Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Garris, and I am so glad that you are here. Please remember to listen right until the very end because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click like and subscribe down below because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson number 193. All things are lessons God would have me learn. God does not know of learning, yet His will extends to what He does not understand, in that He wills the happiness His child inherited of Him be undisturbed, eternal and forever gaining scope, eternally expanding in the joy of full creation, and eternally open and wholly limitless in Him. That is His will, and thus His will provides the means to guarantee it. Wow, what a powerful reading. God guarantees our happiness if we are dwelling in Him. So let's see what God's will is, as explained in this paragraph. First of all, God's will is eternal, happiness that is forever expanding, undisturbed, forever growing, happiness that experiences the fullness of creation, happiness that is fully open, and happiness that is completely limitless in God. That's 6 things in just one paragraph. So if you ever wondered what God's will is for you, now you have it very clearly explained. Let's keep reading. God sees no contradictions, yet His child believes she sees them. Thus, she has a need for one who can correct her erring sight and give her vision that will lead her back to where perception ceases. God does not perceive at all, yet it is He who gives the means by which perception is made true and beautiful enough to let the light of heaven shine upon it. It is He who answers what His child would contradict and keeps her sinless forever safe. Let's talk about it. There is no duality in God's world. There is no good and bad. There is no difference. There is only oneness. We all are one in God. So no contradictions. Through God, we gain true sight. The Course in Miracles calls it Christ vision. And that is part of my morning prayer. Dear God, please give me your mind to think, your ears to hear, your eyes to see, your words to speak, and your heart to love. When we say that prayer, honestly, I absolutely believe that we are given that gift. Here we are talking about seeing with Christ vision. Our perception will change if we do this. Let's keep reading. These are the lessons God would have you learn. His will reflects them all, and they reflect His loving kindness to the child He loves. Each lesson has a central thought, the same in all of them. The form alone is changed. With different circumstances and events, with different characters and different themes, apparent but not real. They are the same in fundamental content. It is this: forgive, and you will see this differently. Let's talk about it. There is only one lesson that we need to learn, and that is forgiveness. Forgive, and you will see this differently. Now, we may not always see that the lack of forgiveness underlies all of our problems, but if we are honest with ourselves and we allow ourselves to sit quietly with this thought, our areas of unforgiveness will come to mind. And once we are able to bring them to the surface and see them clearly, then we can consciously ask for help to forgive them and let them go. Let's keep reading. Certain it is that all distress does not appear to be but unforgiveness, yet that is the content underneath the form. It is this sameness which makes learning sure, because the lesson is so simple that it cannot be rejected in the end. No one can hide forever from a truth so very obvious that it appears in countless forms, and yet is recognized so easily in all of them, if one but wants to see the simple lesson there. Forgive, and you will see this differently.
Let's talk about it.
If we are willing to look, we will see the simple lesson that is there underneath all of our problems. All things are lessons God would have me learn. Every single experience. We have been enduring a long stretch of a dog that comes every holiday and is right behind us in the next complex. That darn dog barks all day long, night and day. We have tried everything. Nothing seems to help. Now, what is underlying my problem? I think it's the barking dog. But in fact, I'm not forgiving the owners, and I'm not forgiving the dog. In previous years when this has happened, I have allowed it to completely ruin my day because I'm getting so angry and upset at the situation. But this year, I have come to terms with it. I'm still letting the guards know. I'm still keeping up the pressure that they might do something different. But I have come to an acceptance that they're only here for a short time. The most is 2 weeks. I can live my life differently. I can be sitting here at the front of the house with the doors closed all behind. I don't need even to be in the house. If I am, I'm in the front bedroom with all the doors and windows closed, and I only hear a tiny bit of the barking. Or I can go out. It always comes down to a choice. Do I sit here and be upset about the situation, or do I accept things as they are, allow the lesson of forgiveness to unfold in my spirit, forgive the situation, and move on? Very often, a part of the forgiveness is also forgiving myself. Perhaps forgiving myself for allowing that dog to ruin my day in the past. Perhaps allowing myself for the horrible thoughts. I must confess that I've had fantasies of climbing up on the roof of our townhouse and spraying the dog. It's just been kind of fun to have these little fantasies. But I recognize that if I allow myself to stay there, I am only hurting myself, because all things are lessons God would have me learn.
Let's keep reading.
These are the words the Holy Spirit speaks in all your tribulations, all your pain, all suffering, regardless of its form. These are the words with which temptation ends and guilt abandoned is revered no more. These are the words which end the dream and rid the mind of fear. These are the words by which salvation comes to all the world. Salvation being union with God and all creation. Forgive, and you will see this differently. Shall we not learn to say these words when we are tempted to believe that pain is real and death becomes our choice instead of life? Shall we not learn to say these words when we have understood their power to release all minds from bondage? These are the words which give you power over all events that seem to have been given power over you. You see them rightly when you hold these words in full awareness, and do not forget these words apply to everything you see or any brother looks upon amiss. Shall we not learn to say these words when we have understood their power to release all minds from bondage?
Let's talk about it.
Forgive, and you will see this differently. When we understand these words, even if we don't fully believe them, has incredible power to free us from all of the upset, the pain, the fear, the rejection. I will forgive, and I will see this differently. These words apply to everything that I see or anything that my brother or sister sees that is amiss. Everything. Nothing is left out.
Let's keep reading.
How can you tell when you are seeing wrong or someone else is failing to perceive the lesson he or she should learn? Does pain seem real in the perception? If it does, be sure the lesson is not learned, and there remains an unforgiveness hiding in the mind that sees the pain Through eyes, the mind directs.
Let's talk about it.
If we have pain of any kind, whether it be physical or emotional, then we can be sure that there is unforgiveness that is lurking underneath the pain. So pain is really just a signal to us to go back to saying to ourselves, all things are lessons God would have me learn. This pain is a lesson that God would have me learn.
Let's keep reading.
God would not have you suffer thus. He would help you forgive yourself. His child does not remember who he is, and God would not let her forget his love and all the gifts his love brings with it. Would you now renounce your own salvation? Would you fail to learn the simple lessons heaven's teacher sets before you? That all pain may disappear and God may be remembered by his child.
Let's talk about it.
God does not want us to suffer. God wants us to return to his center of love. When we are one with God, then all of that pain and suffering just disappears. Not necessarily overnight, but in time, these words truly work miracles.
Let's keep reading.
All things are lessons God would have you learn. He would not leave an unforgiving thought without correction, nor one thorn or nail to hurt his holy child in any way. He would ensure his holy rest remained untroubled and serene, without a care, in an eternal home which cares for him. And he would have all tears wiped away, with none remaining yet unshed, and none but waiting their appointed time to fall. For God has willed that laughter should replace each one, and that his child should be free again.
Let's talk about it.
Most of us have experienced pain and sorrow if we are seeing through the body's eyes. The people that we love in bodily form will all pass away. When we lose people that we love, it is hard. I've experienced bone-crushing sorrow, but I don't have to stay there, and neither do you. We do need to allow the grief to take its course. We need to honor it, but this is telling us that that is not our reality. And the more grounded and connected that we are to Source, the more we understand that our loved ones are with us forever, the quicker our sorrow and our pain subsides, as we're able to see the glorious light that is coming from the other side.
Let's keep reading.
We will attempt today to overcome 1,000 seeming obstacles to peace in just one day. Let mercy come to you more quickly. Do not try to hold it off another day, another minute, or another instant. Time was made for this. Use it today for what its purpose is. Morning and night, devote what time you can to serve its proper aim, and do not let the time be less than meets your deepest need. Give all you can and give a little more. For now, we would arise in haste and go into our Father's house. We have been gone too long, and we would linger here no more. And as we practice, let us think about all things we saved to settle by ourselves and kept apart from healing. Let us give them all to Him who knows the way to look upon them so they will disappear. Truth is His message. Truth His teaching is. Here are the lessons God would have us learn.
Let's talk about it.
What are the lessons? First, give all you can and then give a little more. That is saying, sit a little longer in your morning and evening meditation. Give a little more. The second thing is, as we are practicing, to think about all the things that we have tried to work out by ourselves, the things that we thought we had a better idea, a better plan, and they didn't turn out very well. And the third thing is to give all of these things to our higher power and ask Him to take care of them, to settle them for us so that they will disappear. Fourth thing is to remember God's message of love is the truth. All of the suffering and pain is false.
Let's keep reading.
Each hour, spend a little time today and in the days to come in practicing the lesson in forgiveness in the form established for the day, and try to give it application to the happenings the hour brought, so that the next one is free of the one before. The chains of time are easily unloosed in this way. Let no one hour cast its shadow on the one that follows, and when that one goes, let everything that happened in its course go with it. Thus will you remain unbound in peace eternal in the world of time. I love this idea. When we do our hourly practice, we are asked to reflect back on the previous hour, and if there is something that comes to mind that we need to forgive, anything that has caused us even a tiny bit of upset, anything that's moved us off of our center, then we simply release it. We say to God, please take this away. Help me to forgive it. And then we move on. What a great practice. Oh, feels like we're getting a hurricane here. Let's just move the hair out of the face. You might have to tie it back if this keeps up.
Let's keep reading.
This is the lesson God would have you learn. There is a way to look on everything that lets it be to you another step to Him and to salvation of the world. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus: I will forgive, and this will disappear. To every apprehension, every care, and every form of suffering, repeat these self-same words, and then you hold the key that opens heaven's gate and brings the love of God the Father down to earth at last, to raise it up to heaven. God will take this final step Himself. Do not deny the little steps He asks you to take to Him.
Let's talk about it.
Every single time that we become aware that we're off course, we want to plant this idea in our minds. I will forgive, and this will disappear. God will take this final step Himself. All we need to do is to make these little efforts, and we will experience God's loving hand reaching down to us to literally lift us up to heaven. We experience heaven here on earth when we do these practices. That is the miracle. Thanks so much for listening to today's lesson, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Tell others about these videos. Encourage them to start at lesson 1 and only do 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat?
Thank you to Susan Edge for this video of the dolphins playing in the
All
bay.
things are lessons God would have me learn. Forgive, and you will see this differently. Have a blessed day, everyone. I love you.